Почитувани представници на медиумите, следува изјавата на председателот на Владата на Република Северна Македонија, господин Димитар Ковачевски, и на американскиот сенатор Крис Марфи. Ве известуваме дека по изјавите не се предвидени новинарските прашања. Премиерот повели.
Благодарам. Dear Senator Murphy, please be welcome to Skopje and we are very happy to have you in our capital in North Macedonia. Драго ми е што денес во Скопје престојува мојот драг пријател, сенаторот Крис Марфи, член на Комитетот за надворешни односи на Американскиот сенат и добар познавач на регионот и на нашата земја. Ова е наша втора средба за неполни 3 недели, по средбата која што ја имавме неодамна во Вашингтон, за време на мојата посета во Соединетите Американски држави. Овие наши чести средби говорат за силната посветеност на сенаторот Марфи кон регионот и за неговата лична и континуирана поддршка на Северна Македонија и нејзиниот демократски развој, стабилност и просперитет. Како председател на владата би сакал да напоменам дека и на разговорите во Вашингтон и на денешната средба од сенаторот Марфи добив уверување дека Соединетите Американски држави ќе продолжат да ја поддржуваат Северна Македонија во сите наши аспирации, а особено кон пристапувањето во Европската Унија. Тоа е комплементарно на нашето стратешко партнерство и меѓусебна поддршка која си ја даваме низ веќе долг и значаен период од првиот ден на нашето самостојување. Во таа насока и денес разговаравме.
In that regard, today we talked about reinforcing the cooperation between North Macedonia and the US, especially in conditions when the country is making its next steps towards European integration. We have no doubts that there is a difficult way ahead of us and some bold decisions, and I'm glad to say that on this path we have strong support from the US and of course from their high representatives. Each friendship which assures us that we are on the right path is of exceptional importance to us. Thanks to the support from true friends such as the United States, today North Macedonia, after 3 decades since its independence, from a country a user of international missions, became a factor of stability on Western Balkan. NATO member state, chair of the USA, country that has started negotiations with the EU, country that is repository of the agreements within the Berlin process, and the country hosting negotiations between other countries. Today we are a country that has better credit rating, with a historic lowest rate of unemployment, with an increased rate of employment, increased minimal salary, increased average salary, increased pensions, and highest record of foreign investments in the country, especially from high technological development companies. The US and North Macedonia are true example of partnership. The reform processes developing in our country for the past 30 years have the strongest support from our American friends who are invested in democratization of our society. 3 decades of support for the good governance system, fight against corruption, and support of the democratic processes in the country, including reinforcement and progressing of the economic development of the country. It is my great pleasure to confirm that this cooperation and support, together with the effort that our country invests in democracy, yields results. Our democratic progress is highly positioned in the first place compared to other Balkan countries according to the measurements of Freedom House. According to the measurements of Reporters Without Borders, from the 118th position in 2016, we reached the 38th place in the world regarding media freedom, and in my mandate alone, we climbed up the list by 19 places. However, our strong partnership can be seen in economy too. The trade exchange with the USA last year was more than $250 million American dollars. At the moment, we have 12 companies from the North American continent, from the US, from Canada. Most of the companies come from the automotive industry, but part of them are from the energy and electronic sectors. Here we have Lear, Dura, Adient, but I want to mention Bechtel and Enka that will work on the largest infrastructural project in the history of our country. Also, I have to mention Yageo, one of the largest manufacturers of chips, that is Kemet. as the recently known investment that will have serious impact over the economic growth and development in North Macedonia, and something that we could not even think about recently now becomes a reality. In our country, we will manufacture computer chips for the automotive and medical industry. I would like, on behalf of the government and in the name of the citizens, to thank the senator on his support and trust towards the government I lead, and to reiterate our resolve to continue the path we traced, the path of European integration and development, because the decision that is ahead of us is not a decision that needs to be done by one person or one government or one political party. It is a decision that needs to be done by all political actors in the country. We need to secure our citizens to live in an EU member state. We are a country. Precisely, our country originates from the former Yugoslav Federation. At that time, we had higher standards compared to Slovakia, Czech Republic, Romania, Poland, Bulgaria, and all other countries that became member states of the EU. And I will lead and adopt all necessary decisions that will secure the citizens of North Macedonia to have, again, higher standard compared to all citizens that I mentioned before, because our citizens deserve this. And on this path, I count and rely on the support from our strategic partners, especially the US and the EU member states. Thank you, and thank you, Senator, for your visit. Now we'll hear from the Senator Murphy.
Minister Kovachevski, thank you for your hospitality. Thank you for welcoming me here to Skopje. I was so pleased to have time to spend with you in Washington, D.C. Your visit was important. It was triumphant. It reaffirmed the strong bilateral relationship between the United States and North Macedonia. And I was eager to come here to learn more about how we can strengthen this partnership and to urge you and the Parliament on in your path towards the European Union. First, let me just say a word of thanks. North Macedonia is a new NATO partner. That's a big deal to be a member of this alliance. That means North Macedonia has a security guarantee from the United States and from all other members of this alliance. But the truth of the matter is, the United States and North Macedonia have been security partners for a long time. Often, one of the first calls we place when we need help, globally or in this region, is to our friends in Skopje. Our alliance is strong, as evidenced by our unity on pushing back against Russia's brutal invasion of Ukraine, making sure that Russia pays a price for its violation of international law. Our alliance is strong, as evidenced by your help in making sure that we left no partners behind in Afghanistan as we withdrew our troops and NATO troops from that country. And as you referenced, we have a strong and growing economic partnership, more American companies doing business here than any time in the past, and a recognition that our security comes not just through our military might, but our economic might as well. The future of this world will be dictated in part by who controls and produces critical technologies. We want to make sure that it's the United States and our partners here in Europe that are making those technologies, and so this announcement of new microchip manufacturing here in North Macedonia, that's music to our ears in the United States because it makes us more secure as well. But I'm also here to make sure that the United States is sending a very strong message to your partners in government, to members of parliament, and to the people of North Macedonia. We support your decision to join the European Union, and we urge you to take the steps necessary to make enlargement possible. I know it has been a long road to the EU. I know that for many, they ask, legitimate questions about whether the EU is a real possibility. I'm here to tell you it is. Many people said the same thing about NATO. North Macedonia will never have an invitation from NATO, but you took the difficult steps necessary to make that invitation possible. You signed a historic agreement that allowed for that invitation to be extended. And today, North Macedonia is a member of the NATO alliance. I frankly wish that got more attention. It happened in the middle of COVID. Maybe not everyone here understands what it means to have a security guarantee from the United States of America. And now there are similar steps that need to be taken in order to join the EU. But there is a new opportunity for EU enlargement. The war in Ukraine is a crisis, but it has woken the EU up to the need to keep its doors open. There's no way for Ukraine to come into the EU without countries in the Balkans coming in as well. So there is a new, real opportunity for enlargement. And North Macedonia should not waste this chance. And so this constitutional amendment, a technical amendment to the Constitution, is a clear opportunity to get North Macedonia in line to join the EU as a new opportunity presents itself for enlargement. I don't need to tell you what it means to join the European Union. You're talking about rapid economic growth, rising salaries, more American companies coming to North Macedonia. But the last thing I will say is this. I also want to be clear about the impact on the relationship with the United States if North Macedonia was to take a different path, to decide against this constitutional amendment and veer off the path to the European Union. It would be concerning for a NATO country, a country that we have pledged to defend based on our common values, to turn its back on the EU. And so we are friends. We will never stop being friends and partners, but people in the United States, leaders in the United States, are watching the choices that are going to be made here in the next several months and are hoping that your decision to align with us on security measures through NATO will be matched by a similar decision to stay aligned with the European Union on economic matters as well. This is a moment where there are choices to be made. Russia is presenting a unique and grave threat to the transatlantic alliance, to democracies worldwide. This is the moment for democracies in Europe, to join together to make the tough decisions necessary to stay joined together to fight back against this aggression. And so, Mr. Prime Minister, I welcome our friendship. It's very important to me. Your trip to Washington was so vitally important. I'm hopeful that there will be good news coming from Skopje soon on the constitutional amendment and your path into the European Union, and we will stand with you to do everything that is necessary to make sure, as you joined with NATO, you join with the European Union as well. Thank you for having me today.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Благодарно почитувам.
Thank you, dear members of the press. This is the end of today's statements. Thank you.